Hi, darling. Welcome back. So, today I want to talk about something that, if I'm going to be honest, it's something that I don't want to be perceived in a perverted way, but it's something that I feel is very pertinent to be talked about. It's something that I believe that we are all missing. I feel like if you're on the same frequency as I am, this is something we are all missing when it comes to romantic love, to relationships and everything. So I want to talk about seduction. And before I start that conversation, I need you to open your mind. Don't limit seduction to the bedroom. I just feel like that's too narrow. People hear seduction and the first thing they think it's bedroom. And it's not that. This is not the type of video. If you're looking for raunchy type of content, there's plenty of that on other platforms. But I won't be talking about that. Sorry, I'm just checking my timer. Okay. So, why do I think that seduction should be something that is brought back or emphasized or practiced more? And I don't see it as a practice. I see it as a way of being. It's kind of like the core elements that make being human exciting, especially an adult human. So, if I think back to like the 90s, the 80s, there's something that I used to love about film in that time, and it was the attention to detail. Even when it came to fashion, it was the attention to detail, because I noticed even a lot of the clothing from that time, the 90s and the 80s, literally, my mom still has like items from that time that are still beautiful and the color is still vibrant. Even movies, there is a feature that I miss in movies, and that is the attention to detail. So for me, how does that relate to seduction? So think about old school movies like Pretty Woman, so many movies that I could think about, movies with even older generations, like movies with Marilyn Monroe. There was something that I loved that the directors or the filmmakers focused on, and that was the attention to detail, the attention to the minor details on the film, whether it be a speck of sweat going down someone's neck or the application of lipstick, but a close-up look at the lips, the application of mascara, the attention to those finer details. How does that relate to us as the broader public, as consumers, as people who are obviously not in the show business? I think it relates to us in the sense that we are in a weird time where technological advancements are everywhere. Social media is very much becoming a core feature of daily life and a core feature of communication, especially for most young millennials and Gen Z. So I've noticed a feature of our current time, and that is people are dissatisfied. And I believe that one of the reasons that people are so dissatisfied, especially, let me focus it on relationships, especially in romantic relationships, that's because we are in a weird time where things are easy to get. So basically fragmented pieces, like the fragmented pieces of aspects of relationships are easy to get. And what do I mean by those fragments? I'm talking about hookup culture. It's so easy to basically find intercourse. It's so easy to find someone to go out on a date with. It's ever more easy to meet more potential partners. But that has not solved some of the issues. And we're basically doing the same thing, hoping for the same results. And I like what people in the 90s kind of had. Obviously, the 90s and 80s and generations before the 60s, I like what they had. Obviously, I'm not going to look at it from a romanticized lens because I don't think everything in that time was beautiful. But I liked that. I liked that people were not overstimulated. And with that, it meant people gave each other adequate amount of time to focus. I see that a lot in movies. A lot of us have this Disney fantasy of relationships, and to a degree, I think some aspects of it are possible. I do believe that we all crave that intentionality, that focus, that attention to detail, that ability to be transported to a different experience, to a different life, to a different world. Like seduction, people think seduction is just intercourse. It's not that. Seduction is someone inviting you to their own world. I used to love old school movies when like the men would basically take a woman on an adventure, and it will be somewhere where his favorite hobby or somewhere new. That for me is seduction. It is this interplay. I was reading a few like journals online as well. It's like the interplay between, it's the intersection between play and conflict and flow. It's like you don't know what to expect. It is the little details. It is the holding of hands. It is the looking at each other's eyes, knowing that both of you have a mutual attraction or interest, but you are going to savor every single minute because you want to learn this person. You want to know what their beauty is, what their artistic nature is. Like, I think any person could be so seductive and so attractive if they put emphasis on the things they are good at. I feel like if you have a beautiful voice, that could be your tool to bring people into your universe. If you have a beautiful face, that could be your tool to bring people into your world. But it has to be deeper than the physical also. If you have a beautiful mind, bring us to that world. What have you created with your beautiful mind? If you have a musical talent, if you have the ability to dance, there's so many things that people could do to bring other people into their worlds. And we've gotten so lazy. And I'm not going to make it like just men or women. I just think both sides. Because seduction is about, obviously, you have to have a mutual attraction to each other. But also it's like the pivotal element in seduction is delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. And we are in a weird time where we can get things easily, instant gratification, food, easily, fast fashion, easily, a warm body to lay next to, easy to a degree. It's gotten so easy that we lose aspects. One thing I know, anything that is fast or instant, there is elements lost in the process. There is ingredients lost in the process. Like, I can taste the difference between something that is homemade and a cake that was baked through like a ready mix. You can see with fast fashion, like with Shein, I don't know, Shein, Temu, and all those brands. You see it with how easily things they are made. You see it with hookup culture. It's so instant. It's so now, now, now. And there is a journey lost in that process. We're losing the creation of the fabric, the process, the attention to detail when people would design an item of clothing, the attention to detail when people would bake something. Because everyone has their own twist on how to do something. We've become so uniform because I think it's intentional. I think the way, even the content that we're getting, it's so overstimulating that there's a reason for that. The reason is to make us not focus. Because one thing I notice, through boredom, that's where most creative ideas come from. Through boredom, that's when if you have a partner, you're able to focus on the beautiful details on them, the beautiful aspects about them, the interesting, the unique features that they have. And that's the beauty of seduction. It's basically focusing on the details. It's the journey. Seduction is about the delayed gratification, but the journey to that desired outcome. And I'm talking about, like, if the desired outcome is a romantic relationship. That was the reason why I think some of the relationships in the 90s, in the 80s lasted longer, because people took time. And with human beings, we tend to want a return on our investment if we took time to learn and build something, to enjoy something, to play. And I don't know what's going to happen if we continue consuming each other instead of inviting each other in the process of creating memories, creating experiences. I think one of the most beautiful things you can ever do for someone is to touch them mentally. That is literally just seduction, being able to touch someone's mind. Why do I believe that is like one of the most impactful things? Because even with traumatic emotional situations, they build you, they have a lasting effect on your mind. That's why some people are still focused on a lover from years ago. You find old people talking about a lover from years ago, and that's because that person touched their minds, whether that in a good way or in a negative way. So it's something to think about. I think seduction is one of those things, I could say it's even a core element of romantic relationships. It's one of those things that make life interesting. It's one of those things that make you content. And my worry is, in a world of instant gratification, we are never content. We are never content. We want the next thing. You want the next video. You want the next fashion trend. You want the next hookup. Because everything is so easy. I'm not going to say easy, but instant. There's no build-up. There's no conflict. There's no flow. It just is instant. And we are going to see a generation of people who don't know how to be content if this continues. Because contentment is one of the core reasons relationships between people lasted, because they were content with where they are. And that's why I think seduction should be brought back. People should learn to harvest and figure out what makes them, what makes them attractive. And sometimes the thing that makes you attractive is something that people used to make fun of. Whether it is your big nose, it is your voice, it is your hair. Those things, if you basically beautify them, I'm not saying change them, just saying refine them. Like, for example, I used to have issues with my voice and I used to get teased a lot about it. But now it's something that I have learned to make sound beautiful to me, well to me. So I'm saying this to say we need to go back to focusing and taking a step back, because seduction is more about being calm and relaxed and taking a step back to experience someone, to experience the world with someone. It is the finer details. It is the sitting at the restaurant, eating food, no cell phone in sight, and looking at the other person sit across you, and you are just admiring who they are, and you're just admiring their mind or their face or their hands or how their beard connects to the rest of their hair. It is the little hairs on someone's neck. It is just the focus on, I don't want to sound creepy, but that's what it is. It's like the focus on the little things, the build up, the story, not the ending. And I worry we are never going to be content if we cannot take moments to slow down and actually create the fulfilling experiences. And I genuinely believe that seduction and this Disney-esque fantasy that I have, I genuinely think it's possible because I can do it for myself. I've been doing it for myself through my poetry, through my travel in the world. And I'm able to cultivate such beautiful experiences for myself and seducing myself. So that's something I don't think is impossible. I think we can all harness what we are, the beautiful things that the Creator gave us, and have a beautiful impact on people. Don't consume people as objects. That is the reason we are where we are now. So, darling, if you like this or you disagree with this, have your opinion down there in the comment section, and share this with your best friend or your enemy, girl, and have a beautiful night, afternoon, morning, or evening, wherever you are. Bye-bye, darling.